One of the biggest mistakes new Copart buyers make is believing that run and drive means the vehicle is in good condition. Unfortunately, that's not what it means at all. In fact, I've seen run and drive vehicles need thousands of dollars in repairs after leaving the auction. Today, I'm going to explain what run and drive actually mean, what Copart tests, and why trusting the label could end up costing you a lot of money. With that being said, let's go ahead and get right on into the video. So this here is a common mistake that I see a lot of new buyers make. They go to Copart and they would assume that the car listing that says run and drive simply means that it does what it says it does. It runs and it drives. But that's not exactly what it means at Copart. Copart's run and drive only means that the vehicle started under its own power, went into gear, and moved forward. That's pretty much all that they do. Many beginners assume that the engine is good, the transmission is good, AC works, brake works, and there's no warning lights. But the thing is that none of that is actually guaranteed. And here's the thing. Sometimes you can look at the pictures. You can see that there's no warning labels on the dash. You could even do a whole 360 and see that there's no damage around the car. And many times they will even post up a video of the car running. And you can hear the car running. And you think, wow, that engine sounds great. This here must be a really good running car. It's going to last me forever. Not exactly. The engine may start and run, but that doesn't mean that there aren't any internal issues. For example, it may run and drive, but it may have timing chain noise or timing chain issues, oil leaks, misfire, overheating, or even transmission issue. The vehicle only needs to move. It only needs to crank up under its own power and move forward. That's all it needs to pass Copart's test. That doesn't mean that the transmission is going to shift properly. Examples too, you can buy one and you can have transmission that slips. You can have very hard shifting. You can have delayed engagements. You can even have electronic issues. They don't even test up things such as like the backup camera, navigation, power seats, power windows, sensors, the AC, or even the heater. A lot of things also don't get tested, like the compression. The compressor doesn't get tested. They don't ensure that the doors operate properly. Suspensions doesn't get tested. And, the control arms, struts, alignments, and we can go on and on and on. There's a lot of things that Copart does not test when they list these vehicles for sale. There was like the one time I had turned around and I had bought a BMW on Copart, and I purchased this vehicle here. It was listed as a run and drive feature. It had nothing, no warning lights, nothing like that was showing up. And I went ahead and purchased it, and I drove it for about a day. And when I got it, one day I was out running some errands, and the car ran hot on me. And it ran hot and it left me stranded on the side of the road. This here came because I didn't pay attention. Do not fall for the run and drive feature and believe that the car is absolutely healthy with no issues. This situation could have went a lot worse, and there are some cases that I've bought things that are a lot worse. So like this Mazda RX-8, and I know what you guys are going to say. You should have known better than to buy a Mazda RX-8. And I guess you guys were right. At the time, however, I was not that experienced and did not understand it. This vehicle was listed as a run and drive feature. You know what was wrong with this one here? It had oil and the water was mixing. It had water in the spark plugs, which thus made this car here absolutely a nightmare to try to repair. And I actually lost a ton of money off of this car here. Now, don't get me wrong. I would much rather buy a vehicle that says run and drive other than one that doesn't start at all. Okay, there are some good benefits to a run and drive vehicle. Now, I will say that for the most part, out of the vehicles that you will definitely get from Copart, you will definitely find some problems with it. But the run and drive feature, a vehicle that cranks up, it's easier to figure out what's going on with it. It's easier to diagnose the vehicle, and there are a much better chance in it having lighter damage. Just don't rely on it completely. So with that being said, what can you do to prevent yourself from getting screwed over at Copart? Well, here's a couple of things that you can do. One, check the vehicle's history. You'd be surprised at what these cars actually go through. It is easy for you to go ahead and look up a history report. Number two, walk around the photos. Okay, look at the photos very, very, very carefully. Don't just skimming through it and say, oh, I see no damage, I see no damage. Pay attention to some of the very small details, such as undercarriage photos. You may look at one side and you may see a wheel is pointed in the tire and the wheel is pointed in one direction, and then when you look at it on the other side, it's pointed in the other direction. That there's telling you something. Next, pay attention to the engine bay. See if you can see any obvious damage or any obvious parts that may be missing from the engine. Also, check the auction inspection report. Look into Copart and see if there has been an auction inspection report and pay attention to that. Check for the warning lights that may be visible in the photos. Many times these guys crank up these vehicles and let them run, and you'll see some of the warning lights appear on the photo. So kind of pay attention to that. And finally, I would say research common problems. For example, if you're looking or if you're interested in bidding on a BMW or Mercedes or Land Rover, Audi, or any luxury vehicle like that, right? You can go into Google, you can type in that year, make, and model vehicle and type in common problems or common failures and understand exactly what you're getting yourself into before you bid. Okay, now look, the run and drive can be very, very helpful, but it shouldn't be the only reason that you bid on a vehicle. Okay, don't look at a vehicle and say, oh, it looks really, really nice and it runs and drive, and make that the sole reason that you are bidding on a vehicle. Okay, always do your research and inspect everything you can before you spend your money. Now, I want you guys to let me know, have you ever bought a run and drive vehicle that turned out to be a lemon? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you guys enjoy Copart IAA and some of these public auctions that I do, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys in the next video. Y'all take care.